Hello everyone, my name is Bianca Jazmine. I'm here with Key to Music and we are live for our new free summer jam session. So all summer long, every Thursday you could tune in here at the Key to Music Facebook page at 6:30 for a new lesson every week with a different teacher on an expert of their instrument. So today we're going to be looking at the ukulele. So today we have our first free ukulele class here at Key to Music online Facebook for our summer jam sessions. We're going to start off with just the basics of the ukulele, and then we're going to jump in and take a look at some of the songs. So first thing we're going to get started with is the strings. So I have here 4 strings on my ukulele. We're going to start with the first one, which is actually furthest away from you. So up here, this is going to be string 1. String 2 is going to come a little bit closer to you. And then string 3 and string 4. So these are our strings. We also have frets on the ukulele, these little boxes here. So here's fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, and as we go up the ukulele, it changes the notes of what we play. So for example, if I just play the first string by itself, here's what it sounds like. When I press down on the first fret, it changes the note to something higher, and we can continue that all the way up the ukulele for all the strings. So this creates a really large amount of notes that we can play in combination. And that combination of notes is called a chord. So chords are going to be kind of the backbone of the songs that we play. So in the first song we're going to learn today is called I'm Yours. There are 4 chords in this song: C, F, A minor, and G. So let's go ahead and go over those chords together. The first one is going to be C. So when we play C, remember we talked about the strings and the frets, right? So I have string 1, remember the furthest one away from you, kind of feels like it's backwards. And then we're going to be pressing down on the 3rd fret. So once again, the frets are these little boxes here on the ukulele neckboard. So here's fret 1, fret 2, and fret 3. So we want to press down nice and tight on fret 3 like we're pinching a little bit, and then we're going to strum all 4 strings, and that's the C chord. Pretty simple. It's one of the easiest chords to learn, so I always like to start with that one. It's a nice 1-finger chord for us right there. C chord. Ta-da! The next chord we're going to learn is F. So F is going to involve 2 fingers. So the first finger is going to come here on the 2nd string. So find that 2nd string. That's what it should sound like when you pluck it. And then we're going to take our first finger, our pointer, and hold down on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. That should be what it sounds like now that you've held that down. Then we're going to take our 2nd finger, our middle, and we're going to hold it on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So here's the 4th string without anything, and then the 4th string on the 2nd fret. So all together, we have the first finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And when we strum all together, we get F. So once again, we have C and F. Our next chord we're going to learn is A minor. A minor is going to be another 1-finger chord. We're going to take a look at the 4th string, so counting from 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the closest string to our body. We're going to be on the 2nd fret. So kind of like F, where we had that same one over here plus this guy. We're just going to remove that one at the top with the pointer, and we're left with A minor. Here's A minor. So all together we have C, F, and A minor. And then next we're going to learn the letter G. So G is going to make a little triangle shape. Now to build this shape, we're going to start with the 1st string with the middle finger on the 2nd fret. That's what it'll sound like. Then we're going to bring the ring finger to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then the pointer to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. So when we strum it all together, that's G. And that's all. So once again, our 4 chords, we have C, we have F, we have A minor, and we have G. So these are the 4 chords that are going to make up our song I'm Yours. So I'm going to pull up the song now here. And I'm just going to give you a little run through kind of like the verse and the chorus and what that would sound like once we play those chords. So one thing that's really important here is strumming. So I'm just going to play with a very simple plain strum at first, and then we'll get to that part later. So I'm just going to do nice down strums. This is a really good way to start with the ukulele as we get used to first pressing down on the fretboard to play the chords, as well as strumming. So right now I'm using my thumb. Sometimes I use my nails, if we have any ladies with nails out there. And then we also can use a pick, which is probably the most common option. So I'm going to play with my thumb today. That's what I personally find the most comfortable. So here's the C chord, the G chord, then the A minor chord, and then the F chord. And that's pretty much the backbone of the song. So I'm going to take you through the verse and chorus so you can kind of hear how that all comes together. Here we go. Well, you done me and you bet I felt it. I tried to beat you, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks, and now I'm trying to get back. Before the cold done run out, I'll be giving it my bestest, and nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some. I won't hesitate no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. So that is the first verse and the chorus of the song with those 4 chords. So as you can see, I switched through those 4 chords with a pretty consistent pattern. Let's break that down real quick and see what that pattern is. Pattern. We're doing 4 beats on each chord here. So we have 4 chords, and on each of those chords we play it 4 times. 4 down strums. 3, 4. And then you would switch the next one to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. And F. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that cycle goes on for pretty much the entire song, and like I said, it's the backbone of the song here. So the chords, the actual order in this song, I'm Yours, is C, G, A minor, and F. Because I know earlier we learned them in a different order, so I just want to clarify that. It's going to be C, one more time, C, G, A minor, and F. And then we hit each of those chords 4 times on that down strum. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See? And now let's try it all together. So we've learned our chords. We've learned where they go on the frets. We've learned that they each are played 4 times in succession in the order of C, G, A minor, and F. And now we can try to put our voice over it. So trying together, let's try to sing the song and play the chords at the same time now. Here we go. Well, you done me and you bet I felt it. I tried to beat you, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks, and now I'm trying to get back. Before the cold done run out, I'll be giving it my bestest, and nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some, but I won't hesitate no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. See? And that's the first verse and the pre-chorus and chorus. So that's just the beginning of the song here, and then that pattern will repeat throughout the rest of the song to then sing the second verse and the second chorus as well. So let's do a quick little review of that in case if we're going too fast here. We have the 4 chords, starting with C. And for those just joining us, C is going to be on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And then we strum all 4 strings together to create C. A little review for G as well. We create the triangle shape, that's our triangle chord, starting with the middle finger on the 2nd fret, the ring finger on the 3rd fret, and the pointer on the 2nd fret. And that's coming from the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings here, coming towards the body to number those strings. I know sometimes we want to think the closest one is string 1, but it's actually the furthest one is string 1, and then we come towards the body. So that's G. And then we'll review A minor. So A minor is all the way at the 4th string, so closest to the body on the 2nd fret. We hold on nice and tight, just a 1-finger chord there. And then finally F, all we do is tack on that pointer at the 1st fret of the 2nd string, so all together we create F. So A minor to F is a pretty easy transition. All we're doing is adding a finger here. So A minor, F. All right, and then also we do those chords 4 times each. So let's take a look at how that sounds in the 2nd verse. Once again, we have those 4 chords, and then at the end there, I'm just finishing with a C to kind of give it like a finalizing touch there. So we have C, G, A minor, and F. And then at the end, I like to give it a little C for a sweet touch there. So let's start from the beginning all the way through. So if you've got your ukulele out, let's make sure we have our C chord. Remember, 3rd fret on that 1st string, all 4 strings strum to create C. G is our triangle shape. Remember, we have middle finger on the 2nd fret, ring finger on the 3rd fret, and pointer on the 2nd fret, going from strings 1, 2, and 3. And then A minor, 2nd fret on the 4th string. And F, we just tack on that pointer on the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Alright, so we'll try it all the way through from the verse to the chorus, and then the next verse, and then the next chorus. So let's try it all together now and see how we do. You ready? Here we go. version, just first chorus of the full song with those 4 chords, all the way through using our 4 chords, 4 beats each on a down strum. So once again, down strum is just when we go down against the strings from top to bottom. So now something I mentioned earlier about that down strum was a strumming pattern. So now we're going to kind of get into that second phase of the song here, where now we've learned the basics, we've learned the chords we need to play, we've learned how often we need to play those chords, and in what order. So now we're going to jazz it up a little bit. So instead of just always playing the same thing over and over again, which although it's a very effective way of strumming, sometimes it gets a little repetitive. So in order to spice it up, we're going to try an interesting strumming pattern. So a very common one that I always like to do is a down, down, up, So we can start this pattern here by first just doing down, up all the way through. So think of it like this. We had our 4 beats, right? 2, 3, 4. Those 4 beats are now going to get divided in half. So now we have 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. So now each beat has like a little group of 2 now. So we've divided each of those in half. So beat 1 gets 1 and, beat 2, 2 and, beat 3, 3 and beat 4, 4 and. So altogether we have 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. See? Before we just had 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we have 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. So these ands also translate into something called down, up, down, up. So this pattern is just the direction that we're strumming our strings, right? So down is down, and up, you just pull it back towards you, up. Yeah? So all together, it sounds like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So this is just a normal down, up strumming pattern. And now the next part of is we take away certain parts of that pattern to create something more interesting. Here's an example. So that whole time, I was just going down and up like that, down, up. But I was pulling my hand away from the ukulele sometimes to miss the note on purpose to create something more interesting. So once again, here's just down, up. And here's when I syncopate it. But I'm sure on your end, it still looks like I'm doing the same thing. Watch closely one more time. Here's down, up. My hand's going down, up, down, up, down, up, but the whole time I am striking the strings both ways. Now, when I do it again, watch, my hand's going to be doing the same thing, but I'm going to pick which notes I want to miss, and then it'll create its own strumming pattern, like this. So you may see my hand do the same thing, but I was only actually striking the strings for some of those, and just passing by like this on the other ones. So this pattern is called down, down, up, up. So down, down, up. So there's 2 ways we can go about this. You can do what I was doing before, where we have the kind of the ghost hand where we miss, where we're just constantly moving. Or if that's too much movement for you, we can dial it back and only move when we're supposed to. So here's what that would look like. So in that time, instead of just going like that the entire time, instead I was selecting when I would actually move and only move when I had to, basically. So once again, down, down, up. So we have 1, 2, and 4 and, 1, 2, and 4 and is the actual counts we're counting, because remember we talked about before we had our 4 beats, we divide those into 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. So when we have all those beats together, we can kind of select which ones we want to use. So we have 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and in this strumming pattern, it would technically just be 1, 2, and 4 and. So we're skipping the 2, we're skipping half of the 3, and then coming in at that second half of the 3, and then the 2 on the 4th one. So once again, it's 1, 2, and 4 and, like this. 1, 2, and 4 and, 1, 2, and 4 and, 1, 2, and 4 and, 1, 2. So I stopped at the 2 there, but you can take it all the way to the 4 depending on the song. This is also called like an island strum. It's a very traditional strumming pattern that's used in a lot of different songs, like Riptide, another common one as well. So let's try it out with I'm Yours. So once again, down, down, up, down, up. And we're going to take it through our 4 chords for this song, which is C, G, A minor, and F. I did kind of the ghost hand thing where I'm just going up and down the whole time and selectively missing the strings. And if we're going to do it the other way we talked about, where we kind of select when we want to move, we can do it like this. So it just kind of depends on your style. If you think this is way too much movement, you can stick to just the and only moving when you have to. Or if you think it's easier to just keep a nice steady rhythm, that way you don't lose your beat, you can do that too. So let's try to take it through the verse like that. And that's it. And you can go ahead and try that out in the chorus as well, or at this point you can start trying out your own different strumming pattern, making those up on your own. So once again, that's called syncopation. So we have the beats that we have, 1, 2, 3, 4. We slice all of those in half, so 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and syncopation meant we got to just pick and choose which one of those 1, 2, 3, 4s or ands that we wanted to choose for our specific strumming pattern. So on your own time, see if you can come up with your own combination, looking at 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and just seeing what happens when you selectively pick and choose, and you can come up with a lot of different styles like this. So we can also remember that the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s are down and the ands are up. So as long as you keep that in mind, you can come up with any type of pattern on your own. So to break it down one more time, we have 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. And then in this pattern that we did 1, 2, and 4 and. So we skipped the end of the 3, or end of the 2, and the beginning of the 3 to just kind of create a little pause for the and, where we did all 3 ands in a row, which is the and, 4 and. So all together we have 1, 2, and 4 and. 1, 2, and 4 and. 1, 2, and 4 and. And so you want to bring all of those together to kind of create your strumming pattern, and then making sure the hard part, if you're learning the chords at first, is then switching on time with your fingers on the left hand. So 1, 2, and 4 and 1, 2, and 4 and 1, 2, and 4 and 1, 2, and 4 and. The reason it can be kind of difficult for this pattern is because at the end we have and, 4 and 1. We just kind of barrel right into the next one, so we want to make sure that our left hand does those transitions in time so we can keep the beat of the song without pausing. So once again, for I'm Yours, the chords of this song are C, which we have the first string, 3rd fret. Remember, first string is the one furthest away from you. And then G creates our little triangle. So we have the middle finger on the 2nd fret of the first string, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and pointer on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. And then we have A minor, which is the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And finally F, we just tack on that pointer right at the 1st fret of the 2nd string. So let's try those chords one more time with the strumming pattern that we learned today. You ready? C. Build your own strumming pattern, starting with the chords that we learned together today, learning how often we play them in the song. So in I'm Yours by Jason Mraz, all those chords are played for 4 beats at a time. Then we took those beats and we subdivided them further to create syncopation, right? So that was the funky beat that we came up with, and you can come up with your own syncopation pattern on your own time at home. And as always, at Key to Music, your first lesson is always free, so make sure to give a call here in Port St. Lucie, Florida for your first free lesson with Key to Music. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I had a really great time learning this song with you. Once again, I'm Bianca Jazmine. I teach here at Key to Music, and you can always call for more information on how you can get your first free lesson. Remember to tune in next Thursday at 6:30. We're going to be learning basics of bass guitar, and every Thursday after that, keep tuning in here at Facebook for Key to Music to learn your free music lesson over the summer. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night. I'm Bianca, and I'm at Key to Music.